Avengers assemble. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Welcome, Avengers Endgame spoiler movie review. I told you guys Saturday. Now I want to spoil it. I ain't gonna spoil it. So if you have not seen this movie, have I not worn this jacket? It's a jacket, dude. So yes, I have. I might wear this jacket all week while you're talking. Now, let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Avengers. Assemble. Now, Avengers Endgame, we've already done the movie review. In case you haven't seen um the movie review, it's already up here. So you don't have to go that far to check it out. Now, I will repeat. This is the spoiler review, which means I've already made my movie review video. So this one will be a spoiler. Unlike a lot of the spoiler reviews you probably heard throughout the internet, mine will be the best. Because unlike these guys, I have seen the movie more times than them. They're going off of watching the movie one time, maybe two, before releasing that video. Because it's all about getting those early hits. Ah, and you don't get what you're supposed to get out of it. First off, I purposely led you guys astray because I didn't want to ruin it for you with the script because the leak kind of ruined a lot of stuff for everybody. So we kind of knew a lot of what was happening in the script, and some things were being vague. But when I did that video, I was mixing it in with what I wanted to happen, with what didn't happen. So that way you'll be surprised when you watch the film. Quite genius of myself. Now, let's start from the beginning, right? They don't give you fair warning at all. It kicks right off with Hawkeye teaching his daughter how to shoot a bow and arrow at a target. This shot was done late because this was not the original opening of the movie. The original opening of the movie is after this when they show you the Marvel logo and Tony's in space. So this was like one of the last scenes that was shot for the movie. Fun fact. So they put that right at the beginning of the film so that you can have more depth as it's what you really didn't need to know, but you connect more with Hawkeye by them showing that clip with him and his family out there on the ranch. So with them showing him this family, and he's off the grid, he's out there on the ranch doing his missions and all his jobs. You connect now with him and his family the same way you did when you didn't know anything about him until the Ultron, right? So that's going to foreshadow into what's going to happen later, as Marvel loved to do in foreshadowing, right? Then there's this big thing about Tony being in space. Everything I told you about this was true because everybody has seen this. They had previewed this scene in the audience of people before, where Tony's on out in space. He's stranded and they're running out of food. He's lost a lot of weight, and seems like he's about to die. They got halfway to their destination, somewhere drifting in the universe, light years away. They've run out of resources, and Tony is like dying out in space. Now, the only problem with this scenario is Captain Marvel comes and saves him, right? Then they said to me, Carcino, how in the hell did Captain Marvel come and save him? How did Captain Marvel know they was out there? Space is big. How did Captain Marvel know that Tony Stark was there? That's terrible writing. Because, special man, you must did not see Captain Marvel bonus scene. The scene that is not in the film because you saw it on Captain Marvel. So they didn't need to put that in the film. Right? There's no need to put it in the film if it's already been shown. And in that scene, they find Nick Fury's pager. They got it powered up and they're charging it and they're trying to get it to work. And it dies out, it goes completely out. And Captain Marvel arrives. And she asks for where's Fury. So it explains to you one or two things. Right? It explains you one or two things. Rocket, that's his ship. Don't you think Rocket wouldn't have a beacon or something on his ship where he could recognize it? And he's thinking the rest of the Guardians out there. And when she arrived, they told them, we have no way of getting out there to rescue them. But we got our friends, they're trapped and they're floating in space, seems like they're out of gas. Can you please go bring them back? And Captain Marvel went out in space and looking for Tony and them, found them and brought them back home. it would make. Why do you think Pepper was there when they arrived? Didn't you find that pretty interesting that Pepper is just at the Avengers facility? She was there hoping Tony was on that ship when they were coming back. Now, here's the other thing that many people don't seem to understand. As this movie progresses, you see a very angry Tony, right? Tony passes out. And the Avengers jump up to go rush to go fight Thanos, and they get there, and Thanos is all broken up and still broken down from the first movie, and then he used the stones to destroy the stones. They cut his arm off, they cut his head off, but he's like, the job is done. So they rush all the way out there to stop Thanos and kill Thanos. It's already done. Thanos then killed half of the universe. He destroyed the stone, so it can't be undone. Now, head's cut off. So now that his head's cut off, he's dead. 5 years pass. People are trying to adjust with the new Earth, new life. Everybody's still a mess. They don't know how to go out. And I did like the Russo factor. He was in there being one of the guys in therapy. That was nice. He's like, I get it. Cino's been waiting for this. Of course I have. I, I've been waiting to wear this thing. Now, let's get to it. This movie is starting off anew because after 5 years, this is the one scene I did not like. Any scenario in the world they could have come up with. They let a mouse run across and hit a button to bring back Scott Lang after 5 years. Out of all the scenarios they could have used, first off, 5 years and that stuff is still powered. 5 years and they got it all in storage still. For 5 years and nobody's paying on it. So this whole part upsetted me. It was about to ruin the whole markings of it, but I was like, look, it's a movie. They got to move the movie along. We can't waste time with trying to make this. This is not going to be the hardest thing they're going to have to do. Now, he comes out. He's oblivious to everything for 5 years. So he's taking everything in. So he meets his daughter, who's 5 years older, and man, did she grow in 5 years. My goodness. She's like, it was 15 years looking at her. Then she comes out. They embrace. Now, after they embrace, I guess he gets put up to speed about Thanos and what happened, and all of a sudden he knows a lot. When before he knew basically nothing, he ended up knowing a lot. So he comes back and he was like, well, for me, it felt like 5 hours. So we don't know what he saw, what he heard, anything. He just came back knowing about Thanos, knowing about everything, and started running off at the mouth about time travel because they had to speed the story along. So when he gets there, everybody's not coping. What's his name been killing people for 5 years, just taking on Japanese drug lords, just wiping people out for no reason. Meanwhile, Black Widow, she's just running Shield, the Avengers headquarters, what's left of it. Why Cap? There's been no real need to avenge anything. She just don't have a purpose, and that's what the movie is foreshadowing. Without her doing something, she really has nowhere to go. Her story is she can't be with Hulk, Professor Hulk. They don't have anything. Those villains came and was written out in the script, so it's pretty much dead. So after this is this last shot. They go to Tony. Tony's got a new life. He's living on a farm. He's got I don't know if him and Pepper ever got married. They might have. We don't know, but he's got a 5-year-old girl. So Pepper was pregnant when they in the Infinity War, when he was talking about he was dreaming about it and all this stuff. She was pregnant. So now the new situation is present. And that new situation is this. Tony's kind of content now, even though he was hurt and he was so distraught that out of anybody he lost Peter Parker. He lost the kid. And that was something Tony couldn't live with, is that he lost the kid more than anything because the kid was like his responsibility. Tony didn't have a kid. And he kind of liked this relationship of him being the father figure for Peter Parker. And he's like, oh my God, now this is like me dealing with my dad. And now I'm in the position of my dad talking to a kid that I got to try to, rein in. And now he's lost. So Tony felt even double worse. That's why he blamed Cap and all that stuff. He passed out. Now the movie turns into a bunch of ridiculous jokes that's spinning around in a circle. And the jokes are about Back to the Future. And everybody's like, oh, Back to the Future, Back to the Future. No, it's Back to the Future Part 2. Because that's one thing Jeremy John said, and I agreed with when I saw it immediately. I said, this is Back to the Future Part 2. And they reference it a lot throughout this film. Back to the Future Part 2 is the first film of its kind where it's like they go back in time and see themselves, but can't really get entangled with themselves. Same script. And there they had to get the almanac and get back out of time and go back here and go back there, going back in multiple different time zones, going ahead in time, going back in time. So now they were doing that in a gauntlet search for the gems, for the Infinity Stone. No, that's not Sandman. That's somebody else entirely. But here's the thing. When you see this start to happen and they go on this hunt, uh, this is where the movie started to gripping. It started to show a lot of grip because it started to turn into a comic book. Because in a comic book world, this is how things work. in case you guys have never read a comic book will go from one story to another story to another story to another story. And when it was done in here and the way they weaved it together was perfect because they went to the story where you see Tony and the fact that he never had closure really with his father and the way they had the father-son moment there. And it was like, oh, okay, this is genius. And it was great. So it was almost perfect that they ended up having to go back to 1970 and they had to go back at certain points in time. That was cool. One thing I couldn't get down with the actual time travel part. In order for this film to work, they had to ignore the factors of what we know about time travel from like Back to the Future Part 2, in which this movie was inspired. This movie they had to ignore, and thank you guys. You guys can hit the super chat button if you want a super chat donate here. We got super chat here. So they wanted to ignore Back to the Future Part 2 and all the laws of going back in time because they had to have this explanation in order to make it make sense to the people. And then people said, yeah, that's right. And it still didn't make sense. Talking about when you go back in time, that time is now the present. And what you did before that is now your past. So the old past can't be the past no more if you're now in the present. It just didn't make any sense. Because you like Captain America, when he went back in time and did the things that he did, let's say you go back in time and get with some chick and have a baby. What? So you come back in time in the future, that baby just not gonna exist no more? It don't make any sense. So even when they do this when they do the scenarios, they even do another Back to the Future Part 2 reference. Not only did they reference the almanac, when you see the ancient one, when she tries to explain why she won't give the green stone to the Hulk, the actually time stone, is because she outlined the timeline and showed them if you take one stone out of Link, here it is another alternate reality where that might fit for your world, but you'll change this timeline. So the Hawk says and explains it. No, we'll go back in time and put those stones back in place before they were even stolen. Therefore, it looked like it never left and everything is in a perfect line again. After all this talk, she was not going to give it to the Hulk at all until the Hulk told her that Doctor Strange gave it to Thanos just willingly. So she knew Strange must have had a plan. And she ends up giving the time stone to the Hulk. Now, the Pym particle to do the time jump back and forth, they only had limited supply because Hank Pym ain't around. He disappeared. So that means Ant-Man, what he has to do is actually go ahead and do all the stuff that he was supposed to do and get everybody to go in there and then do the jump to come back when they go into the quantum realm. That particle would get them through the time machine and through back. Now, I thought they were all going to go through the van, but they didn't. They chose other methods. They made their own time machine to use quantum physics to go back in time. So now Tony can rest, or can he? Why did I say it like that? Because they've been foreshadowing a lot of this and the whole drawbacks and all of these things are going like a big search and they going through the whole mission. Captain America fights himself in this film. That was genius. The way they incorporated other characters. And we can't forget about the Big Lebowski himself, Hobo Thor. Hobo coming in all fat, and they based him right off of the character, the Big Lebowski. If you don't remember the dude, that was his character. And of course, everybody saw that. And even Iron Man calls him Lebowski because that's who he is. He's the dude. You call him Duder. Captain America was fighting himself because himself, he ended up running into himself. And his self thought that he was Loki. I got eyes on Loki. But he's like, I'm not Loki. And other Cap didn't understand what was going on, so he had to knock old Cap out, escape with Loki's scepter, and go back through the motions. Now, at one time, three stones was in New York almost at the same time. At one time, but they had to find the right time to get back. Three of the Infinity Stones was in New York at the same time. Loki's scepter, the Tesseract, and Doctor Strange was right down on Bleecker Street. But Doctor Strange wasn't there yet, so it belonged to the ancient one. But how cool was that when the ancient one knocked David Banner out of the Hulk's body? Poof! Astro projected his spirit out of his body. How cool was that? How cool was that? Well, over the years, they felt like they needed to change something with Thor. So it reminded me of a comic book movie because that way they kept going back to different scenes and different people's storylines. Because every individual, they storylines all connect. And in a comic book, it's like people had their own chapters, their own stuff they was dealing with. Thanos just happened to bring everybody to a whole. They have a common enemy, but they all had their own baggage. Thor had things he had to deal with, the loss of his mom, lost all his people. Everybody he cared about and he know was basically dead. So he really didn't have any connection. He just had this what was little bit left of Asgard. And they taking refuge on Earth, where Valkyrie is like the one that's looking over things while he just sits in there. And that was the funniest scene ever when they was playing the video game with his business. You remember my guys? Hey man, they playing video games, playing Fortnite. No, I didn't cry in this movie at no point. Um, it's some scenes that were made to be sad, yes, but didn't cry at no point. Now, moving into this element of what was supposed to go on, the studio leaked a photo of Captain America all beat up with the broken shield. Like, oh, people had saw that, so they thought Cap was gonna die and all this stuff, right? So, like, and like I told people, go watch Guardians of the Galaxy if you hadn't seen it. Watch Ant Man and the Wasp. Watch the first Captain America movie. Watch Thor 2, and you'll be able to keep up with all these things. You should have seen these movies by now, because Guardians of the Galaxy 1, you know why they did the little thing they did when they did the homage thing when they went to go get the Power Stone. Yes, they did. The earthquakes underwater. And she said, well, what are you planning on doing about them? She says, nothing. They're earthquakes underwater. We're going to do nothing about them. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Now, this was smart what they did with Nebula. She was able to link another timeline with her other self that's with Thanos on Thanos' ship. And Nebula is actually projecting the visions from the other Nebula that's from the future. And she's projecting all through her memory bank that she got in her computer. So they're able to see everything that's going down. Now remember, Thanos got killed in the first 5 minutes. So this is the Thanos that's on the mission to get the stones. He don't have not one of them yet. And he's getting ready. This is right before Guardians 1. So you'll know exactly what's going on. That's why you really need to watch Guardian of the Galaxy 1. So Thanos finds out the plan. And now he's going to insert his own plan. They go kidnap the other Nebula before she can go back, and they switch places. She covers up her thing, and she's like goes back in time and pretends to be the Nebula from the future, but she's the Nebula that's with Thanos, and she wants to make her dad proud. So she goes back in time and she tells the Avengers they all go back, and there's another story I left out just for this sober moment because I wanted to talk about it individually. Black Widow and Hawkeye, their mission was to go to Volmir. And it was like, we're a long way from Budapest. because they had never been out in space, out in the universe, and you're sending these two people to Vormir. It was just like, how did they get this task? So they once they got the task that they were the ones going to Vormir, we all should have known. The movie is foreshadowed, so I expected it. What the outcome that happened, I expected that outcome. They were going to Vormir. What we saw from Infinity War told us that to get the Soul Stone, it extracts a very dangerous price. Right? To you take a life for a life. So we already knew that going in. So when them two went to Vormir, you knew one of them was biting a bullet in order for them to get it. If you're a casual fan just walking in, don't know what's going on, somebody got to die. You should have known that right there. Prague, if you didn't know somebody was going to die when they both was in Vormir and you just saw Infinity War, you know the rules before he even tell it. They just not learning it. You in the audience, you know somebody got to die. If I go, you got to go. Let the gunshot blow. Look, somebody had to go. And it wasn't gonna be Hawkeye. So when Hawkeye was finna go, I'm like, no, they ain't finna let Hawkeye die. That's stupid. Why would Hawkeye die? This is where her story comes to an end. Her story needs to come to an end. She has no art, nowhere for her to go. Well, she has nothing but to bring everybody back. If this is gonna bring everybody back and Clint can get his family, he's got family and kids. They would not show that trailer in the beginning so you could get all attached to Hawkeye so he can die right there. That just wouldn't make no damn sense. It'd be like, well, that's dumb, and now she's gonna be around with the kids and the wife and all that stuff. And tell my kids I love them. I'm like, oh no, she ain't gonna let him go. Oh no, I won't be participating in a Black Widow movie. No, she was never like interesting to me at all. So seeing her go was like, thank you very much, Marvel. I was surprised Vision wasn't in the movie, but then I understood why he wasn't in the movie. Because to bring Vision back, which means that they would have to use the stone, and that stone is part of Vision. That brings Vision back, so you can't have Vision back. So they need to make another glove to bring people back. So if you bring Vision back, you got to kill him again. Sorry, Vision, I'm gonna have to kill you right quick. I know you just got here, man, but I'll let you have 30 minutes with Romanoff over here. Now, they all come back. They got the glove. They put it together. Hawk puts it on, and it's killing the Hawk right away. As soon as he puts it on, I'm like, man, like right away, it is killing him. And then he's trying to think and can't even barely hold the glove up. And they're like, are you all right? He's like, yeah. And he snaps his hands, but no one else could do it because they basically couldn't do it. pretty much. No, after this part, and Thanos, while they doing that with the glove and messing around with it, Nebula is messing with the coordinations because she's finna bring in and open up the quantum realm and bring in Thanos' ship, which they do. Thanos' ship comes through the quantum realm, busts through the roof and expands. Now Thanos has arrived. Thanos has arrived. And while they got the glove and they snap, and next thing you know, Clint phone ring, the wife and kids alive, everything is back. And Tony told Hulk, make sure you think about bringing everybody back, but don't change nothing from the last 5 years. That was very critical because he could have brought everything back and everything would have changed. But he didn't change anything from that didn't happen in the past 5 years. So he didn't change that and wanted to bring everybody back, snapped his fingers, and everything was back. Now, Thor got closure with his mom, and he was supposed to go out and be the man that he was supposed to be. They got the scene with Natalie Portman. They went and got the ether from that god awful worst movie ever in Marvel cinematic history. Out of all the 22 films, the last and worst film they've ever made is Thor 2 The Dark World. And they go back to this one because unfortunately, this is the one where they preview the ether. So they go and extract the ether and bring that and get that one to just get out of this god awful movie with the dark elves. And Thor ends up leaving. But before he goes, he says, whoa, wait a minute. Put his hand out and manure come back. I always call it manure. Majora, Winor, whatever that hammer is called. Thor's hammer comes. He's like, I'm still worthy. And then they go back, disappear and go back in time. So now they go back in time. Thor is happy he's still worthy. So anyway, Hulk's arms burnt up. Well, it has gamma rays. He'll heal. So Thanos sends all the missiles down, blows up the whole Avengers base. Somebody should have died. All the missiles exploding, like right in their face, like Ant-Man got hit like with a full blast. Boom! I'm like, oh, Ant-Man dead. Ain't gonna be no Ant-Man 3. So I guess he shriveled all the way down to an ant when the explosions came, and that saved him somehow. It was crazy to me. I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, this is nuts. Completely nuts. I'm looking at a situation that's getting like ugly about a minute. You knew something was up when she was trying on the glove. You should have known something was up when she came back. When they switched places and did the switcheroo. We've been seeing that a lot. Us, the other movie with Alien Covenant. So we should be caught up with twins switching places. So they never paid any attention to it. And then Nebula goes up to Thanos, who comes down off his ship. He's sitting there, and he just took hands his helmet there. He was like, "Where's the stones?" She's like, "It's in the rubble." He was like, "Okay, go get them and bring them to me." She's like, "What would you do?" "I'm waiting." Thanos just sits there. She's like, they never suspected a thing. The arrogant never do. So he's just sitting there waiting on her to bring him the stones. So anyway, this whole fight is going down now. They come out. It was like, look, he's just sitting there waiting. Iron Man, Thor calls the hammer. Boom! Lightning comes and hits Thor and braids his little beard up. He gets his armor. He gets his axe. He got the Stormbreaker. He got the hammer. Let's kill him this time for good. So they going out there. He was like, "You guys couldn't handle your own mistakes. Couldn't handle your own failures. And what did that bring you? Right back here to me." Trying to undo what he done already did. So now this Thanos and has no memory of fighting them before because he hadn't done it yet. So he doesn't remember how the fight went and none of this stuff. But he only remembers that he beat them because he saw the memory file that was in Nebula. So while this big battle is going on, they're really getting the drop on Thanos. Then Thanos is just starts smacking them around like insects almost. Pop! Even Iron Man, all his new things that he did and the powered up that he got his suit got 8 blasts. Man, Thanos took that blade, spun it around like a fan, caught all of it and was moving in. He was moving in. Now the Hog them, they all trapped under the wreckage, so they can't even get into the battle. Uh, Rhodey and all of them, they still down there. Rocket. Yeah, that would be something to see. Yeah, but then Thanos comes around and completely changes the spectrum of what we thought we were going to see. The battle was going down great. Um, he's got the upper hand. And when you see manure or Thor's hammer goes to Captain America, and Captain America just all of a sudden, he knows how to use the electricity and bring it down on Thanos. I'm like, he's doing this better than Thor. What the hell? I never thought Cap would. How the hell Cap is a better damn Thor than Thor. He used this hammer better than Thor's ever used it on his first go round. Boom, boom, bringing the lightning down on him. He's tearing Thanos up, frying him. Man, Thor, man, he got the drop on Captain America and gave him the business. Yeah, Thanos was finna put that axe right in Thor's chest, and that hammer hit him right on call. So now Cap got the hammer, and he's moving in, and he gets beat down. And then, right when he's beat down, Thanos says, "You know what? He realized it. He's like, you guys have all changed my vision. I was gonna leave half of the world, half of the population here, but now I'm just gonna wipe everything out and just start life new and start new life. Life from anew, where they will have no memory. Because if I destroy half, there's always gonna be some that remember how things used to be and gonna resist. So you guys have clarified things for me. I need to just wipe everything out and then just start anew. Yeah, that's the way to do it now. So he was like, for me, battling has never been personal. No, never been personal with me. But this part, what I'm finna do to your puny little planet, I'm gonna enjoy this a lot. Thanos calls his whole entire army. The dogs, everybody's there. The annoying guy, Dimar, he's there. Your powers are insignificant to mine. He's involved. Everybody's there. And Cap is staring down the entire army. And all you hear is, Cap, it's Falcon. Look on your left. And the first people to walk through is Black Panther and Siri. And Black Panther's there like, we here. And Falcon fly through, then all these other portals start opening up. And everybody from all the movies who was alive was there. The whole Wakanda walks through. Muzambe! You see Wakanda, they were all in Wakanda and they just all came through. Whole armies lined up, ready to walk. Then all the wizards from the school, from Doctor Strange, they there. They ready to go. Juan got them trained. They ready for the war. They 5 years ready. They got their sling rings. Everybody ready to go. Army for army. Thanos looking like, what is this? Thor gets that hammer. Shing. Avengers assemble. Everybody just starts running. Hulk them get in there. And they was like, you want more? Ant-Man. Comes in the Giant Man. And everybody's on now. Hulk is involved in the battle. Everybody's in there fighting. And I'm like, okay, here we go. We have got our movie now. The big brawl. And it is so much going on. You can't even focus on all the action that's taking place. It's all over the place. I mean, it's so much going on. You can't really focus on stuff. You gotta watch it 3, 4 times just to see everything. Right, and look at I mean, Siri is in there. She is not fearful at all. She just zoom, 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 zoom. I'm like, look at her. I see her get down. I see Black Panther do his thing, and you can tell Black Panther's got a lot of respect and a lot of pull now to pull it in 1 billion. So he pulled in. He almost did 2 billion. Next thing you know, Black Panther like, what's up? They featuring him a lot more now than he was in Infinity War. And after that movie came out there, he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to give you a little bit more screen time." So he was the first one you saw come through that sling ring. Black Panther. So anyway, the battle's kicking off, right? Thanos is still in there rumbling, and he taking some dudes out. Everybody's still brawling and getting it in. Um, Doctor Strange, Tony goes and said, "Hey, when you talking about that one in 15 million or 14 million chance of winning, is this it?" He said, "If I told you, then it wouldn't come true." Right. So Tony like, all right, good talk. Then he sees Spider Man and he grabs Spider Man and him and Spider Man talk and he hugs him and embraces Spider Man. But the thing is, and I want to know, what the hell is Spider Man swinging on? There's nothing there. Spider Man swinging. I'm like, what the hell is he swinging on? What the hell is there? What, a spaceship was up there or something? He hit one of the ships. The hell was he swinging on? So he went to his instant kill mode. For the first time, we saw what the instant kill mode did. And that was dope. I like that scene. Instant kill. The eyes went red, and Iron Spidey, them legs started just stabbing everybody. Stab, 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 stab. Instant kill. Stab, 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 stab. I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't get that. I didn't know what that sign mean when he did this. If somebody know what that meant, Tony knew what it meant for some reason. Like, my recollection is this is the one chance. Tony, this is it. Like, this is the one chance. This is the one way we win. Now, everything's going well, then what's her name? She just comes down, poof, right in between the like Black Panther and what's his name got into it, and he was finna come get the glove from Iron Man, who got it. Hawkeye had it, and Spider Man got it, and they was get this to Tony Stark. Black Panther got it first. Give it to me. So Black Panther had it, and he had his scene. He going there, boom! People hitting his suit. It's building up. He goes up to Thanos, boom! Big explosions. He pop, 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 pop. fighting Thanos. Then Demar grabbed him with the rocks and bringing him in. So he gave it to Spider Man. And then once again, what the hell is Spider Man swinging on? The hell was he swinging on? So all of this stuff is going down. Captain Marvel comes in. Everybody thought it was, oh my God, it was the funniest thing ever in the movie. Everybody was, because they all got it in their mind who it is, and it's not that person. They go, it's Adam Warlock. Thanos' ship had the guns up there, but Thanos is getting tore up by Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch tore his butt up. She took the sword and almost broke that sword. Then she was twisting him like, "Rrr." Her eyes was red. That's how mad she was. I ain't never seen her eyes get that red. He was like, she was like, you taking so much from me, and I don't even know you, which is true. He hadn't killed Vision yet. He didn't even know who she was, but he finna find out. She remember you killing Vision. That was it. So she started tearing Thanos up. She was started taking the armor off of him, breaking him down. Oh, she was tearing him up, and he was start shooting. He's like, our troops down there. I don't give a damn. Just let the shots go. Rain fire, rain fire. Pimp in distress. Thanos in distress. Rain fire. So anyway, Spider-Man is covered up in stones. The glove is there with him. And that big ball of light that came in and destroyed Thanos' ship was Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel came back, destroyed the Thanos ship. Boom! Went storming through it. Boom! Tore it down. He came all the way down. She came and landed. Everybody, oh, it's Captain Marvel. We gonna need your assistance down here. We have a Thanos problem. Here she comes again. Everybody want to see what she gonna do. She gonna be the one to stop Thanos. So she coming down there, and they got the glove, and they trying to get it away from. They trying to get it away from her and all this stuff. She's trying to get to the time machine and do all these different things and get everybody there because they need another time machine to send these people back. So the minivan is the only time machine they got left. That's got the quantum realm. So Thanos blows that up, of course. So now they have no other option but to use the gloves. So the glove is out there, and Thanos is running for it. He smacked Tony to pick it up and put it on. I'm like, he's got it. As soon as he puts it on, I'm like, we got it again. Thanos has got the glove again. He's got Tony's version of it, but it's on his hands. He's got the power. He's finna snap his fingers, and Captain Marvel grabs his hand so he can't snap his fingers. So Thanos, she's bending his hand back, and then Thanos tries to headbutt her. Boom! And she don't even budge. She couldn't even feel it. He was like, oh, okay. And she was boom, breaking his hand down, and she had her fist up. She was gonna get ready to punch him. And he takes the power stone out of the glove, snatches it out. Boom! Put it in his hand, powered up, and knock her butt into space. I stood up and clapped. That was the best part of the movie. He snatched the power stone out and popped that hole into space. I loved it. Now there was a scene where all the women got together when she had the glove, and they was like, "How you gonna make it through all them people?" They was like, "She's not alone." And all the women, all the female characters start coming there together, and they start walking together, doing their little thing. Everybody was all cheering. Everybody was cheering. They all the women were together. Now you might not know what that is. And what they were trying to do is their version of they had an all women Avenger team called the A Force. It was a ridiculous comic that I never bought, but it was called the A Force. There was a female Avengers. They were called the A Force, and that's what that was. That was a nod to that. Plus, it's a nod to feminism. So if you're a casual movie fan, you're like, all right, girl power, feminist movement. But it was actually an all girl comic, so they could really clean that up. Yeah, but it fits both timelines because this actually happened in the comic. The A Force. You don't believe it? Go look it up. The A Force. Those are the female Avengers, and they had teamed up to make the A Force. So they did both sides of the thing. So it was a nod to that, which was okay. The best part is when he knocked that broad into space. I was so damn happy. He took that stone out and said, "Psst." I was mad they cut her hair to make her look like Ruby Rose. I'm like, is that it? Okay, everybody's a dyke now. It's Dyke Night. Captain Dyke. Here we go. I'm Captain Dyke. I'm like, okay, do we need any more hints that we got to worry about her doggone sexuality now? We went from a superhero movie to Dyke Night. How do we do that? What's their favorite TV show? Dick Van Dyke? Now, no. Nobody said no. I'm saying that. But anyway, no, they were talking like that in the movie. It would have been a whole bunch of checks that had to be written. But anyway, after that was done, um, oh well, we had to do that to throw off the scent. That story wasn't 100% made up, dude. Um, that's the story we were trying to get out there to cover up the tracks of the leak that was already out. Did you not know that the thing was leaked already? So we had to give you a little bit of the truth, taking some pieces out. So now, anyway, here we go. The big showdown. Thanos is getting ready to snap his hands, and Doctor Strange doing this. Tony knows what time it is, and he runs right in. He knows what he's got to do. He grabs the glove. Ugh! Thanos snaps Tony, knocks him to the ground, and he goes, "I am an ever." And Iron Man turns around, and he's got all the stones. The nanos took all the stones out. The nanobites came and took all them stones all out of the joints, and then they was running up Tony's hand, made the glove. And he says, and I am Iron Man. Boo! And once he snapped his fingers, everybody started disappearing. They were all gone. Thanos sat down, and Thanos turned to ash. He's gone. All of them are gone. But then they brought what's her name back. Now my thing is this: why didn't what's her name go back? Because I'm quite sure Tony said take Thanos and everybody that came with him. So now that could be taken. They just brought Gamora back, but she don't remember Quill at all because she hadn't met him yet. So he was like, "Oh, I love you," and she need him. Then need him again in the balls. And she's like, "This is him." She's like, "Yeah." Like, why am I? It was your choice was between him and a tree. Between him and Groot. Your choices was between him and a tree. This is who I settled for? Like, yeah. He couldn't believe it. But see, that's the thing. He's still gonna be searching for Gamora now. And I guess she went out to do her own thing, but I mean, she should have disappeared with everybody else. Now, here's the thing, and I stated this before, so I'm glad you are here to notice this. Now that we talked about it, Tony snapped his fingers, Tony Stark dies in a very sad and somber way. And the way that Pepper Potts, who came and fought right beside Tony before he died in her Iron Man suit, she says, "You can rest. We're gonna be okay. We're all right. You can rest now, Tony. We're okay. We're gonna be all right. You saved us. It's done. You can rest." And then he just died. So now Iron Man saved everybody again. Tony did. And he's gone. Now, everybody's sad, right? Everybody's completely sad. But here's some things. Marvel likes to foreshadow. In the pictures, remember the posters that was out? They all had they quotes under there, and it was like one last mission for Captain America. Everybody had their own. What did it say for Tony? One last sacrifice. I said, "Oh, Tony's dying. Tony's gonna die." They told you on the poster, knew it right away. Another thing that happened, Spider-Man Homecoming trailer. Spider-Man Homecoming trailer told you that Tony Stark was dead and was no longer available. I knew it from the trailer, Tony was dead. I said, they showed too much in this trailer.
That was so good.
And if you don't believe me, watch it.
Happy. You look nice. Thank you. You too. Thank you. New dress? Yes, it is. Actually, no. What just happened? Running a trip? Good. Nick Fury just hijacked her summer vacation. Awesome! got gifts, Parker, but we have a job to do. Are you going to step up or not?
You're all alone. You see that? You hear what Happy told him? You're all alone. And he's doing all this talking with Happy. There's no Tony around. That tells you right there, Tony's not going to be around. So either Tony went to space or did something else, or Tony's dead. We all had talks of Tony being in Eternal. In the movie, these Eternals that they're coming out with, that Tony's going to be in Eternal. So I've always assumed that Tony wasn't going to be around. When they said one last sacrifice, Tony's probably an Eternal or something. So they have the funeral for Tony. Then the movie continues. They play this video message that Tony left and said, I love you 3000. That's his new tagline. And that he left. So they told him, you're all on your own, no backup. You know, that's what Happy had to tell the kid. He's got the last Spider Man suit made by Tony Stark. Well, a lot of people say that, but then it comes back to the same thing, right? Over and over. Eventually, everything comes back full circle. Well, Pepper proved that she would be the next Iron Person, as she knows how to work all the mechanisms as she did it. So you had War Machine, you had her, and you had Tony fighting side by side. Just think about it. Tony saved an entire universe by snap. Well, no, Hulk did that. Tony just got rid of Thanos and everybody and sent them away. So next thing you know, Cap had to go return the stones back in chronological order that they went back in time, made sure he put those back because if he didn't, then it would mess up the timeline. But when they went back to the 1970s, he went back and saw the picture of and started thinking about the life he missed back in those days. You know, what would happen if he wasn't frozen in ice? And he missed out on his life. First thing he was talking about there, and Tony ended up getting a little bit of life those 5 years after Thanos had died, and he didn't really do nothing but sit down and plan his family. So once Cat went back, they said he could stay there as long as he wanted, but for us, it'll just be 5 seconds when they bring him back. So they brought him back, and it was like, man, he didn't make the time jump, or what happened? But he did. He was already on the other side waiting. And it was strange that Bucky said said what's his name? Falcon over there. and Cap was old. This comes from a comic book where it showed what happened to Captain America if he didn't get frozen in ice. Then they showed a scene like from Winter Soldier 2, like when he went to go get the spear from them and they worked for Hydra when Shield was secretly Hydra. He goes in there, it was like, I gotta talk to the lieutenant and call the headquarters to make sure that you're running point on this. He was like, no, he understands. Hell Hydra. And they gave him the spear, and that's just like that, they gave it to him. Once he said Hail Hydra, that was it. And that's funny because Captain America at one point was like a secret soldier. He ended up all this time working for Hydra. And that ticked off everybody in the comic book, but that ended up being a con game. But he ended up being a Hydra guy. That just ticked everybody off. Kept working for Hydra. So so they were all pissed off about that. And that was in the comics. So that was a nod to that when he said Hail Hydra. And they gave him the spear. It was a nice way to sew that in. And old Cap is a perfect way for them to do it. So when he went back in time, instead of coming back, he just spent his life. And he's like, look, I might as well not go back in a block of ice. I'm gonna go back and chill with old girl. Just spend my life with her. And he's like, I decided to get a little bit of that life, that Peggy that Cap was talking with, that Tony was talking about. He went back and got married. Now we don't know if him staying with Peggy messed up the timeline. We just don't know. Because like I said, if he went back and had kids, you know, what would have happened? Now this is a 3-hour movie, and I spent an hour and 22 minutes breaking down this entire movie. That shows you how good it was. Now, I told you I was gonna bring up things that they didn't bring up, and I did bring up some things that nobody talked about in any review ever on their spoiler review. Now, as we move forward, let's talk about some things I didn't like. The Incredible Hulk. What they did with his character, they kind of made him a sideshow joke. Professor Hulk was funny. He was like comic relief. I wanted to see people want to see the Hulk. They want to see the Hulk break and mash some stuff. They want to see him beat the Incredible Hulk. And after getting beat down and virtually owned by Thanos, everybody was expecting the Hulk to get his hands on Thanos and get some type of payback. We didn't get that. We didn't get that. I would have to say I was a little bit let down by that. A lot of people was waiting to see that. A lot of people was waiting to see Adam Warlock more than Captain Marvel. They thought Adam Warlock was gonna come, and Adam Warlock didn't, and they felt like they was teased to death with it. But in Guardians 3, he should be there. So we don't know what's gonna happen in Guardians 3, but we do know Guardians 3 is coming. And Thor didn't have any more arc for his character, so they just put him with the Guardians of the Galaxy. So that's good. We should have no more Thor movies, and now he's just to be a member with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And we might not have Gamora. You know, they just have like searching for Gamora. If she do, she'll be there sparingly if they do a third film. So, and that basically puts them in their mission for their movie as they got ready to go back into the galaxy and take off. The whole issue was this though, with Peter Quill and everybody else, and they're going on a mission to do what they do. Uh, Gamora is going to go and do 4 Avatar movies. That's why she's gonna be gone. So I knew her part was them having her like disappear or go off, and he's gonna be searching for her. She'll probably be there sparingly if they do part 3. Like she probably one day shoot because she can't go from makeup, green makeup all day to doing blue makeup all day. She's been in makeup and in space for about 10, 15 years, but that's paying the bills. Yes, it's very sentimental. This is one big story. It plays out like a Star Wars movie more than a Marvel movie. The music score, everything, the epicness of it, the height, the lows. It's not like a normal comic book movie. That's why it's more for a mature audience than it is for little kids. Like little kids and more younger people might like Infinity War a lot better. Some of the older people might like this movie a lot more. They be like, I like this. This is a good movie. Like my mom would sit there and watch this one more than she would watch Infinity War. I got the Golden State Warriors. No, was not crying when nobody died. I heard people crying. People in there sniffling, crying and stuff. This is a sad part. I'm like, yeah, I guess if you didn't expect Tony to die. I mean, they foreshadowed it. I saw the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, and I ain't see Iron Man in it. I'm seeing a lot of happen. He telling me Spider-Man's on his own, and ain't nobody coming to help him. I don't see no Tony. Tony dead. Then the poster says one last sacrifice, and they got Iron Man. Everybody got a message under there. One last mission. One last sacrifice. And I'm like, okay, one last sacrifice. Tony's dead. I mean, and they tell you all before the movie starts. Marvel love to foreshadow everything.
Jack, there's some vacation.
Awesome. You got gifts, Parker, but we have a job to do. Are you going to step up or not? You're all alone. Your friends are in trouble. You don't want any part of this.
Well, this is Spider-Man Far From Home. I mean, I think I've covered everything about this movie so far. So if you missed anything, we'll wind it back 1 hour and 30 minutes. And thank you guys all who listened and stayed for the whole 1 hour and 30 minutes. I'm out.